Hi guys, this is Miss Param. I am your biology teacher, and we are going to continue to talk about biomolecules or the macromolecules, our large molecules for life. This time we are on to proteins and nucleic acids. So our first one we are on are proteins. Our I can statement for this is I can explain how proteins are constructed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen and how they support life. So our proteins. So the function of our proteins is they make up the structural parts of an organism. So keratin and collagen. Keratin is like what your hair is made out of. Collagen makes up a lot of your skin. So these are two examples of different proteins, but pretty much like all of our meaty parts are made up of protein. They also make up enzymes. So enzymes are going to be responsible for chemical reactions within our bodies, and we'll talk more about those. And then proteins also make up hormones, such as insulin. The elements that make up proteins are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Their monomer is amino acids. So remember that our monomer means our smallest unit, or 1 unit, is our amino acid. There are 20 different types of amino acids, and they're held together by these bonds called peptide bonds. Peptide bonds form when a water molecule is lost. So when two amino acids join together, it forms a water molecule. The structure types that we're going to talk about for this are going to be peptide, which is going to be our just two amino acids joined together by a peptide bond, or a polypeptide, which is a long chain of many amino acids. So amino acid is our smallest, peptide is two amino acids joined together, and then polypeptide is going to be a chain of amino acids. So our amino acid is going to look like this, okay, where we can see our carbon, our hydrogen, our oxygen, and then we have an R called a variant group. So depending on what's attached here determines which one of the 20 different amino acids it can be. A polypeptide chain is just when these amino acids get connected together. And finally, a protein is made when many polypeptide chains are condensed. So our enzymes, they are a protein that acts as a natural catalyst when substrates meet to push forward chemical reactions inside of a cell. So they act as a catalyst, which is something that's starting a chemical reaction. So a chemical reaction transforms one chemical into another. For a chemical reaction to occur, it needs energy, known as activation energy. A catalyst speeds up the rate of a reaction by lowering the activation energy. And substrates are our reactants for enzyme-based reactions. So enzymes are very specific, and they generally only catalyze for one reaction. So for example, the enzyme carbonic anhydrase only takes water out of carbonic acid. So if we think about what the name carbonic anhydrase even means, carbonic referring to the carbonic acid, an means without, hydra means water, ace is our ending for our enzymes. So carbonic anhydrase basically means carbonic acid without water. Okay? So enzymes are very important for the body. They help us control temperature, pH, and regulatory molecules that can affect the activity. So as soon as we change our temperature within our body, our pH within our body, it can affect the activity of our enzymes. So with our enzymes, as you can see, they kind of have their substrate, they come in, they have an active site where it catalyzes it, and it can break it apart. So this is a video you guys can go back on your own, watch a little more about enzymes, see this process in action. Our other macromolecule that we'll be talking about are nucleic acids. So Our I can statement for these are I can explain how nucleic acids are constructed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus, and how they support life. Nucleic acids. So their function, we have DNA, it stores the genetic information, and RNA stores our information to make proteins. So nucleic acids and proteins are connected together. Nucleic acids are specifically our RNA holds the information that our body needs to make different proteins. The elements that make up our nucleic acids are our carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Our monomer, or our smallest unit of our nucleic acid, is our nucleotide. So there's different nucleotides for the different molecules. So with our DNA, we have our guanine, thymine, cytosine, or adenine. These are all the different types of nucleotides for DNA. With our RNA, we have guanine, uracil, cytosine, and adenine. So it changes from DNA to RNA as thymine is replaced by uracil. Nucleotides also make up coenzymes. So these are nucleotides that assist with enzyme reactions. And we also have ATP, which is a nucleotide that provides energy. So this is what our nucleotide looks like. It is a phosphate group attached to a ribose or deoxyribose sugar, and then it has our different nitrogenous base. So our nitrogenous bases change. That's what determines if it is adenine, cytosine, guanine, thymine, or uracil. With our DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribo is in reference to the sugar that helps make up the backbone, the deoxyribose that we talked about when we talked about carbohydrates. And then, of course, it's attached to nucleic acid, what it is. Our DNA is important because it's the blueprint. If blueprints is to building a house, as DNA is to building life. So basically, everything that we need, all the information that we need to make us up, is in our DNA. So DNA is double-stranded with matching nucleotides. So guanine always matches with cytosine, adenine always matches with thymine. If we don't have this happening, we have some kind of mutation which can be detrimental. RNA. So RNA stands for ribonucleic acid. The ribo refers to the ribose that the backbone is made of. RNA acts as the instructions based off of the DNA's blueprints. So for building life by putting together the proteins. So basically our DNA cannot leave the nucleus where all of this information is stored. RNA makes a copy of different segments of the DNA. It can leave the nucleus. And then we have different enzymes that are out in the why can't I think of it? The cellular fluid. Oh, what is it called? Cytoplasm. Out in the cytoplasm. So these are out in the cytoplasm. They come together and they are able to make different proteins that are needed for the body and the different structural parts of the cell. Okay, so they're basically in the instructions for putting different proteins together. So RNA is single-stranded with nucleotides facing out to be read by enzymes. So guanine still matches with cytosine. However, here adenine matches with uracil. ATP is another important molecule. This is one that we will talk a lot about with photosynthesis and cellular respiration. So the whole purpose of cellular respiration is to be able to break down sugars into usable energy for the body, referred to as ATP. So ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. ATP acts as an energy carrying molecule found in the cells of all things. So basically, it can take energy to where it needs to be used within a cell. ATP, when it has a phosphate broken off, energy is released from the molecule and it's able to be used. This turns ATP into ADP. And then ADP goes through a process where a phosphate is added back, and then it becomes ATP again. So, how nucleic acids and proteins relate. There is a great video on this in our slides. I can't really play them and have them recorded, so I would recommend that you go to the Google Slides and go ahead and watch the video. Have a wonderful day. Oh, also too, if you want to do it for funsies, this is just a small lab on how you can pull DNA out from the inside of a strawberry. So have fun.